This was the location of the first pond we ever dug. It was about a 75-gallon concrete pond that we built in the early 80s. We dug it down a little bit deeper, mainly because of the weather here. As you can see, that's probably frozen down about 12 inches right now. We're in Clarendon Hills, Illinois, suburb of Chicago, the heartland of America, and it's 4 degrees below zero. As you can see, my breath. Last Tuesday it was 60 degrees here. So presents quite a challenge to the koi keeper. With the uncovered, unheated pond, you'd have your koi would be annuals instead of perennials. But we'll see in a little bit here what we do with our bigger pond. We keep fishing here in the summer. Right now they're inside in the basement. This little pond was originally a turtle pond. We keep some turtles and frogs in here. And my son actually dug it because he felt that he had a right to have a little pond like we did, so he got himself a shovel and dug it out. And we've since turned it into sort of a little shubunkin pond, and we keep some lilies in here and a lotus or two. There actually are some shubunkins and goldfish underneath the ice. They seem to do pretty well because there's not too many in there, and it's about 40 inches deep. This boardwalk was actually inspired by a boardwalk that we found up in Michigan by the shores of the lake where we used to vacation. And Bay thought it would be kind of neat to have a boardwalk in our backyard. So we kind of wove it through the bushes and trees. This is just a real shallow little water garden that we keep some miniature lilies and things in. Goldfish and shubunkins in the summertime. As you can see here, we have to try to conserve heat as much as possible. We bought a big roll of solar blanket that they use to cover swimming pools in the winter, cut it into pieces, and we sort of try to cover up our main filter here. But the filter that you're standing by is a gravity flow 4-inch pipe from the bottom drains, goes into a vortex filter and then into a horizontal flow 4-chambered filter here with brushes, PVC strapping, Japanese mat, and some coldness in the end. And then that's returned to the pond via 2 1/4-inch or 1/4 horse pumps to our waterfall inside there. Homemade doorway here. We designed this ourselves. It's basically an A-frame construction that we made with 2x6 cedar lumber with a beam across the middle of it, and we notched it so that we wouldn't have to use any bolts or nails or hardware like that. So we put this thing up in mid-October when the leaves are starting to fall. It takes Bay and I about 3-4 hours to put it up. Very simple construction. And it takes about 3 or 4 hours to take down. We store the wood in the back of the house. What we'll do is we'll lay up the beam first, lean the 2x6 boards up against the beam, and then we throw a sheet of 4mm plastic that we got from Home Depot, very inexpensive, and then we sort of tack it down on top with these 1x2s to keep the wind from blowing the plastic, and it holds up pretty well. It's not a pretty thing, it's function before form, but it does the job. there's many designs of these sorts of pond covers that people build in the Chicago area. One of the more popular ones is a sort of a hoop design that's made with sort of a prefab metal construction. It takes a lot longer to put up, but you can make these things a lot bigger so that you can actually go out inside and enjoy your fish in the winter. Temperature inside the tent will pretty much stay about the temperature of the water. We heat our water here, keep it around 50 to 55 degrees throughout most of the winter. But without any heat at all, a tent like this with a reasonable amount of sun, you would not have any freezing problems at all. So many of the folks in our club will cover their ponds without heat, and they're able to keep their koi out there pretty well through the winter. We don't feed, of course, once the water drops down below 55, but you know, they thrive very well under these conditions. They have a rule of thumb is 30 inches in the Chicago area for what they call a frost zone. So all the water pipes and so forth that they build, the codes will require it to be below 30 inches. So when someone asks how deep a koi pond should be in Chicago, minimum, very minimum 30 inches deep. Our pond, our main pond here is about 6 feet in the middle. And that gives you the added benefit of the ground heat too, to help conserve the water heat. And of course the wind chill too. I didn't mention that before, but the cover will keep the heat in. Wind chill is one of the biggest reasons that the ice freezes so thick on an uncovered pond.